So there's something humbling about moving to a country where you don't speak the language. Hi, I'm Lisa, and I live in Panama, and I make videos about what my life here looks like. I make videos about the good stuff, the bad stuff, the bizarre stuff, the TIP, this is Panama stuff. And today, I think I'm going to start a new series about learning Spanish as an expat, what that has been like for me. Perhaps I'll update it once a week. Let me know. But it has definitely been a journey. So why am I doing this? Well, when I first moved here, I thought I knew some Spanish because I had been doing like Duolingo and stuff like that. I had a tutor for a minute, like a couple of months, and I thought I knew some Spanish. But when I got here and went to go out to dinner that first night, I realized I didn't know anything. I couldn't put together a sentence to save my life. And so I knew I really needed to learn Spanish. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to connect. Like, I didn't move here to just hang out with other people who speak English. I've always wanted to be bilingual. I've always wanted to connect with other people and other cultures. And so my being here and not speaking Spanish and continuing to not speak Spanish was not my ideal situation. And so I am going to share with you how my journey has been. So right now, I think I am I know I'm at the beginners section. I may be a little bit into the intermediate, but I'm definitely at the beginner. I can now order food. I can ask for directions. I can understand a good chunk of conversation in Spanish, especially if the people talk slowly. But verb tenses still trip me up. And listening to rapid fire Spanish is still problematic. And also the Spanish that's spoken here is just a little bit different than what you were taught in school. So here, not only do they speak really fast Spanish, but they tend to drop their S's. And so I remember one of my first experiences. I had actually, someone was talking to me and they had said something like, lo mismo. And I'm like, what in the world is that? Lo mismo. And then I realized what they were saying was lo mismo, but they dropped their S's here. So I've had to get used to that. And so I use a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of videos. I do flashcards. I try to talk to people if I know they're going to be friendly. And how do I know that? I have to start a conversation with them. I am not a fan of Duolingo. I'm one of the few who don't like it. I don't think it prepares you well for actually talking to someone else. I think listening to listening to movies in Spanish with the subtitles also in Spanish helps me. It's been suggested that I listen to podcasts, but it is just way too fast for me. And I at least like to feel like I'm getting something out of it. And if I don't feel like, I don't really like feeling like I'm lost all the time. And listening to podcasts, that's how I feel. I read a lot of kids' books. Don't judge me. But for me, reading a book written for kids is perfect because the grammar is not too hard and I can understand what's going on. Listening to conversations on the street and then looking up the words that I hear, that helps a lot too. I do a lot of that. So in this series, I'm going to be sharing my progress and my wins and my cringes. Like, I still have a problem with when to use Fui, era, and estaba. It still trips me up. I think I'm using the right one, and I'm not. I think one of my latest mishaps or funny moments, I was actually having a conversation in the lobby of a PH of a condo, and the concierge there was having a conversation with me. And so here's one thing I need to back up and say. So a lot of times, if I don't say anything, if I just walk into a room and I don't say anything, people just naturally assume that I am Panamanian, which I don't have a problem with until I open my mouth. So I was in the lobby and I was having this conversation with the concierge. And I was really amazed. He was asking things and I was understanding, and it was going back and forth, and I was feeling really good about myself. And then he said what sounded like ciento. And I'm thinking, why is he saying something to me about 100? And that's when he realized, oh, I don't speak Spanish. And then he switched up and said to me in English, have a seat. And that's when I realized that what he had said was, toma, I think something like toma asiento, take a seat. But siento, which is spelled S-I-E-N-T-O, which means to feel, like I feel. Ciento, which is 100, and asiento, which is to be seated, like I sit. They all sound the same. Ciento, ciento, asiento. And so it's those types of things that still trip me up a lot. And so, yeah. Yeah, it's been like that. So phrases that I actually use when I am in conversation or when I really want to start a conversation with somebody, I will typically start off by saying, like, mi español no es bueno, like right off the bat. And a lot of times they will either say like, tranquilo, like, don't worry, calm down. Or my English is not the same. And I would go still, mi español lo mismo. And so we realize we're going to be tripping through this conversation and we're going to be okay with it. So I do that a lot. And so if you're learning Spanish just like me, you might try to figure out a phrase that you can use to start your own conversations so that you're both comfortable with just speaking. Because if you're learning Spanish or thinking about learning it, it's not going to happen overnight. It is going to happen, as they say here, poco a poco. So I will be sharing my stumbles, and we can laugh together about it because it is what it is. So how is your Spanish? Drop in the comments some of your favorite words and phrases that you like to use, or some of the funny situations that you found yourself in. And as I have learned down here, which I didn't know before I came, nos vemos pronto. Nos vemos pronto. We'll see each other soon. Wish me luck.